Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. I'm gonna try and quick film in a little bit at the beginning of this video in my same studio while I can still do it before my in-laws get here. And, you know, because then the rest of this video is going to be like from a completely different location because I'm talking about the Kickstarters that launched this week. Now, let's see. This is directly related, and I'm trying to be completely unbiased as much as you can be unbiased in terms of a bet that affects you. The over-under on last week's upcoming Kickstarter video was whether or not I would do 5 games or more or less this week. 4 or 6, you know, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So let's talk about it. Let's go. Let's see what's launched. Let's see how it's doing right now. Let's talk about it. Also, if you missed my other videos, got some great lists that have just come up this past week. Got some great lists that are coming out next week. Even better lists coming out next week. It's going to be an awesome time over the holidays in case you need an extra watch or two. And, you know, you want to subscribe. That's awesome. I just realized I totally did that screen. I'm going to leave that in because that's funny. All right, we're going to start with this. This is Titan, Pantheons of God, but this is a TCG. And if you recall, the committee voted earlier in the year. For those of you missing that joke, the committee is just me. Anyway, the committee voted that TCGs don't count. TCGs don't count for these sort of things because TCGs are just sort of weird. 196 people, $122,000. So I mean, maybe we'll talk about this one at the end of the video, but this one clearly doesn't count. So we're just gonna go straight to the 2 that I knew were launching this week. Prognosis Death, $16.95. It's a third of the way in. It's got 47 people. This was a very unique take of sort of golf in a different way, completely different way. But that's the closest thing I can relate it to in terms of what you're gonna be doing. But it looks, again, I agree with this, deceptive amount of strategy in this game. It is sort of a set collection-esque game in terms of what you're doing as you're a doctor trying to take credit for curing a patient, and you need to use symptoms to construct your own diagnosis. But you have to deal with what the other people are putting out there as well. And so that's where the tricky part comes in. Because you either want to have the lowest score in your hand when the patient is discharged, or the highest score if the patient dies. So 2 different end outcomes, and where are you going to go and which one are you going to push more for? Because especially the person across this table from you might be pushing for the exact opposite, and maybe the other person is pushing your way and then a 4th person is pushing their way. So that's what you're going to have to try and do. And again, this is very tactical in nature then. I mean, again, the art is going to be what the art is, but you don't judge a book by a cover, you judge it by the gameplay here. And so I think you need to look at this rule book if you're going to actually give this a chance or not. And again, this is an indie game. So what are you doing here? Okay, here we go. Draw or retrieve. Typical, aggressive, explosive, opportunistic, congenital boils. Let's not even go there. But that is what you're dealing with there. And you get a couple videos of gameplay down here to see what it actually entails. Stretch goals are going to be whatever they're going to be. This is an indie game where it's either going to fund based on people backing it because they want to see this succeed or not. There's not going to be like, oh, well, this one's going to be clearly a huge value. Or, well, I don't know if you're going to get value and be able to resell this for twice as much, so I might not back it. You either back it because you like the concept and the premise of the set collection with the healthcare and the indie publisher, or you don't. I hope this one funds just because this is one that I think, again, you need to support because it's doing something different. We're going to see where this one goes. It's got almost a month to go, and, you know, it's a third of the way there. So off to a good start. Ham's Sandwich Shop. That is the next one. 2,200, though. I don't know. If this trend holds up right now, I'm going to win the bet on this one, too. Because I picked Hams. Some people picked Prognosis Death. Some people picked Hams. It was a little bit split in terms of the bets and which was going to have more because these were the only 2 that we knew were launching. Anyway, this is Ham's Sandwich Shop. If you're not familiar with Ham's Sandwich Shop, ham is short for hamster. And yes, you're reading this right. The hamster chef that drives... The hamster chef that does not drive, but dives on the bread. This is going great for me in terms of video making. But again, this is why you tune in, because this is the stuff that gets edited out on other channels, and you don't get to see them make fools of themselves like I do all the time. Anyway, you're an apprentice chef and you have to make sandwiches. Again, interesting player count here, 2 to 3 players. So that's very intriguing from that side of things. And I mean, look it's not kidding. You're diving on the components themselves, like the physical components with your little hamster dude. So that's just cool. And I think it's so weird. It's so creative. It's just enticing. Placing the toppings on your pieces of your bread. The hamster chef loves sunflower seeds. He'll dive on the bread. Watch out for the hamster. He completes it. And if you get the sandwich toppings that follow the recipe, you get a star. You get 3 stars, you win. 90 tiles, 1 piece. Chef tiles, chef tiles, chef tiles. Bread tiles, topping tiles, chef pieces. I mean, you're not going to find this. You're not going to be able to get this on, anything else or anywhere else. So this is a game, again, like with a lot of these Japanese projects, you either back them on crowdfunding or you just never get them, period. I just ran into that. I saw someone post, one of the guys who I follow, who does a lot of the Japanese market coverage. He picked up a couple games from the Japanese market this past fall, and I saw them and I said, oh my gosh, both of those look freaking amazing. There was this abstract that just looks, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. It looks so cool. It looks amazing. And it's probably never going to be available because they make enough copies for selling at the market and then it just usually never gets remade. Unless it's the rare exception for something like this or one of the rare ones that ends up shipping overseas. And those are less than the crowdfunding ones. So again, shipping actually for a lot of these Japanese ones is not bad. Not bad. It's usually between like 10 to 15 bucks. So if people are concerned about that, yeah, I mean, it's a smaller game, but 10 or 15 bucks getting it straight from Japan, it's pretty darn good. Kickstarter limited edition comes with a wallpaper. You can get a wallpaper for your phone, folks, in case all of you board gamers are looking at that. But you can also get a collaboration piece as well. So it's just kind of cool. I don't have anything else to say about it. You're either going to be interested or you're not. So I have no idea what this is. Pinocchio. Pinocchio's nose. Punished for too much lying, his nose grows just by being around liars. A bluff race that unfolds. Both the deceiver and the deceived are covered in lies. What is this? 2 to 4 players, 10 to 20 minutes. What is... Well, I know what I'm doing after this this video ends. I'm going to be looking at whatever that was and seeing. And so, I mean, they've got the shipping prices right here. And again, it's not bad at all. So if you're getting either the add-ons, it's going to be under B. The shipping is right down here. It's going to be 2,400 yen or 1,600 yen. Nope. Sorry, we're down here. 17 and 24. So roughly doing the math, that's 16 and about 21 bucks. So that's not bad at all. Like I said, I mean, yeah, it's coming straight from Japan, but it's not the biggest box. But so you're paying for probably too much for what it is. But I mean, coming straight from Japan again. So be it. You're not going to get any anywhere else. So check it out. I'm going to check out whatever this Pinocchio thing is after I turn off this video because I have no idea what this is, and I'm really intrigued by this. This looks kind of uniquely abstract-y cool. Okay, so yeah, there you go. This is Ham's Sandwich Shop. Killing it already. Okay, so now we have this version of things. So just going to start with a little bit of a full screen here before I go back to the games. What you see behind you is about half of the collection, and it is, full disclaimer, I have no organization whatsoever. I have this way, I organize this way, I've got here, I've got, sliding above, everything you can see in the background. So just ignore it from that side of things if your OCD can't. And now we also have a cat appearance, and so we might get a little bit of that up here as well. But on the other side, behind the camera that you can't see is like 2 calyxes full as well with stuff along the top. And so there's just a little bit of everything. Okay, back to the games though. Okay, now we have up Mariola's Mission. I have no clue what this one is. It's a printable, family-friendly board game. I mean, it's kind of weird though. $3,000 for 50 people backing for a printable game? Okay, so we have almost $3,000 for 50 backers, which is a little bit skewed because for a printable, friendly game, it says, with a couple of the pledge levels, 32 at the $40 level, and then a bunch here at the $91 level, getting you all the content in a paper printable. And then you've got like 2 of these people down here getting $100, and then you've got 1 person down here getting $400. So what is this game as a whole? You've got 1 leader, 3 adventurers. Again, I have no idea what we're looking at here. I saw someone get posted on Reddit in terms of this. So it talks about a couple different modes, a draft mode or just a couple regular easy modes. You can get the paper friendly printable or versus the 3D printed as well. Cards, rules, and this is sort of it tells you what you're doing here, attack, movement, and what they're doing, their special move, and you're trying to just get here in the center, it sounds like, in these 4 areas. So it seems more like you can print this at home yourself and get maybe a game along with it. And there's a little bit of information down here, and here's the rule book. I'm still not very impressed. I mean, it says a family-friendly kid version and then a tricky journey. And it seems like you're just trying to get to the bridges of your own color so you can cross them. But if you meet somebody that's already in a space, you like basically boot them out. Again, not a ton of information here, but it's elimination. You return to your starting zone, and if you're the first one to move all 4 of your adventures to the castle and have at least one of these gifts, you win. So I think that's basically the whole premise of it. And again, for the amount of money that the printed one is offering, I guess it's really more for the printables or for the painters on that side of things, and that's what it appears to be advertising too. So anyway, there you go. Check it out. It's almost $3,000 funded. Now, next up, we have something I'd never heard of. Now, this is the Veil Season 3, the 3rd installment of a game that I'd never even heard of. So, apparently, though, it's got a following, because otherwise you don't get almost $10,000 within like a day or two on Kickstarter without having a following. So, let's take a look at what it is. Because you know me, I love the idea of a deck builder, and dark fantasy is kind of, frankly speaking, very appealing. So, we'll see. Now, again, interestingly enough, you have $3,000 with Mariola's mission at about 50 backers, and that's about $50 a backer right there. So with this, you having almost 3 times that, it makes me think like the pledge levels are almost 3 times that as well too. So let's just check here a second. And the blue tier here is getting you the whatever the Veil set is with Dragon Wake, the campaign book 3, and set 3 enemies plus an allied card pack. I mean, that's a lot of money for a deck builder that I wasn't aware of. And you've got 4 people at this $360 level, which gets you all 2 of the previous campaigns as well. I mean, $125 for, I mean, can you think of the amount of stuff that you would get from like an Aeon's End for $130 or $150 at this point, especially on the secondary market? And that's a lot. And so, I mean, you're looking at this at $35 gets you an extra campaign book here, and then whatever the set 3 enemies and allies card pack is. So again, the question is with all of the other deck builders that I know out there, why would you get this deck builder over something else that I'm more familiar with? So again, okay, pledge levels, pledge levels, pledge levels. Okay, so what are we actually doing? Stretch goals. Okay, great. How does this game differ? Okay, here we go. Game modes, 60 selectable characters. Okay, that's great. Immersive experience. I mean, I'm very interested when you've got words like that on there. But again, how do these differ? What is it differing from in terms of those adventurers and those heroes and those villains? What are the cruxes that matter in these situations? You've got a rule book, you've got the campaign books. So if you're new, okay, great. Here we go. This should be, if I was making this page, my one critique is put this at the top. Hey, if you're new here, this is what our game is. Because otherwise you've got a lot of preamble that people that aren't as familiar with it aren't just going to dig through it. I mean, not everyone is going to go down, how far are we down this page? 2/3 of the way down the page to get to why would I get this game now? Okay, great. Got different characters, different abilities, age recommendations, but it still doesn't say, you know, what are we special about though, even though you're saying it's if you're new. Mature themes. Okay, how do you play? Heroes have 8 card starting decks, 36 card fate decks. You shuffle them separately, 4 cards. Okay, great. Dealing damage, just playing the cards. Again, I don't get a good sense of what makes this difference. Each fate deck has 3 types of cards. Build your character. You can specialize in these different areas to make your builds viable in different ways, different synergies. Again, this is one that I guess I would have to have a hands-on. Like, I would have to look at this because I like deck building, but is this generic with slightly different terms? You know, because, I mean, you think of Aeon's End, right? You've got the spells, you've got the items, and then you've got sort of the other, completely blanking on the other name, but you've got the 3 things in the market that you're buying from, essentially, in that sense. You can play a recruit, so I mean, you can get a little bit different here. I mean, it's just expensive for what it is. I don't think it's necessarily a bad product. I just don't know enough about it, and I don't get a good enough sense of what it's going to do when I look at this here. So I was able to pull up the rulebook here. I mean, it's a 40-page rulebook, but the pages are relatively sparse. So it's not like it's a 40-page rulebook of something like, I don't know, Weather Machine. So, I mean, it's not that. And, I mean, the art is fine. Everything is fine in here. But it still, again, isn't concise enough for me to be able to summarize it for you in a few minutes in that sense, just with all of the stuff that you're doing. But it is cooperative, it seems, because you're going against, like it says here, the villain from that side of things, and you're taking turns to attack the villain, or at least the opposing heroes and villains. I mean, the artwork is great. I like the artwork a lot. You've got teammates. Again, like, this is one where this is a lot of money to spend, and I'd be curious to see, because I don't know if this one was on Board Game Geek at all. Let's check that out too. There are only 33 ratings and 22 comments overall, which is not, like, again, like, it's not bad, but it just makes me go, okay, well, where is it? I mean, there's very little information about it whatsoever. There are 2 reviews here in the review section, but one is a solo and one is from 4 years ago. So again, I just need more information. I would need hands-on before I'm willing to look at this and go, you know what, $125 for just one setting plus $300 for the whole thing, like a FOMO-ish. Like, I just can't do that. Again, like, it's interesting. It's clearly an audience, and again, like, I'm clearly like interested from a thematic and a mechanical standpoint, but the rest, I don't know. So we'll see. It's doing good though. So there you go. So now we're just going to do a couple quick updates because, again, that's only the 4 projects that are really new, that are launching, and that are actually getting money this week. So there you go. That's 4. But Shikoku 1889, again, 150,000 for an 18xx game is really good, and it has over a week left at the time of me filming this. So, I mean, I'd be shocked if it doesn't break 200,000 at this rate. Again, not for me. Clearly a good pass, but I've had a couple people comment in the comment sections, a couple comments elsewhere on like the other major sites saying that this is a great intro game. This is a great intro if you've never been anything 18xx. Again, I wish they had put this section up at the top. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, just slam this up at the top. That's the one thing that Bezier Games, with their couple campaigns of Castles of the Mad King Ludwig and with Suburbia, they just slammed it right at the top and said, boom, why are you going to get this? Boom, what's new? Why should you be entertained or interested in this in the first place? And that's what this needs, just at the top of the page right here. Just move this whole section up to the top. Because, again, it's eliminating a lot of the fear that a lot of people have about 18xx games of taking, like, okay, 3 to 4 hours of play, fairly straightforward, you need to know all this stuff, and, you know, we're distilling it down for you guys. So, again, from that side of things, it'd be really nice to know. Are there any stretch goals? I don't really think there are a whole lot. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Oh, sorry. Duh, right here. But not a ton. A little bit of added revenue, a little bit of just upgrades. So, not deluxeifications. 18xx games aren't known for, you know, being super deluxe anyway in the first place. So, just giving it more of the contemporary feel from that side of things. Then we have Call of Kilforth. Again, almost 250,000, which is, well, how much? 181,000 pounds, which, again, I think this is easily by the end of finishing in 2 weeks from now. And, you know, with this amount, it's probably going to be the most funded Kilforth game of them all. And I'd say, again, I echo my point where I said when I talked about it last week, if you're going to get one, I'd say this is probably the one to get, just because at this point, it's refined enough and it's changed enough and the errata has been smoothed out enough from that side of things where you can feel comfortable just getting that one, not really needing the other two. I even had a couple people comment like, if you've got the other two, is this one that much drastically different? And yeah, if you're a completionist, I'd say yes. If you're having one or two of the other twos and you're completely satisfied from that standpoint, I'd argue maybe not. Again, because it's not a $40 game, because you're going to pay $80 plus shipping essentially for this game. I mean, it's what, 69 or something, but it's close enough. Yeah, $70. So, I mean, you're going to be taking 85 to 90 probably shipping by the end of this. And if you already have two of them, and you can get maybe just even the smaller stuff of the exclusive little add-ons things that they've got for this, minus the miniatures, this new content stuff. But again, the new content stuff is very expensive for what it is too, card-wise comparatively to what you're getting in the base game. So, you know, it's a tough call from that standpoint. I've got it already saved, you can see up here. But am I going to get it? I don't know. I'm going to have to watch a couple gameplay videos again, because I look at this more as a solo game, and I have too many things, and from that side of things, that I would have trouble getting it played over other things. And that's probably more of the bigger point. It's not that I necessarily wouldn't like it, but it's what am I going to play it in place of? And right now I'm hard pressed to that point to know. So there you go. That's it. That's it. Quick video this week. Very easy, very straightforward. If you missed the top 10 games I'm anticipating arriving from crowdfunding coming in 2022, because there were a couple that were probably saying that they might hit 2022 that weren't going to be probably hitting in 2022. I'm looking at you, Primal the Awakening. I don't think we're getting it in 2022. I also don't think we're getting the Gambler's Chest from Kingdom Death. I don't think either of those is going to make it in 2022. I'm setting the bar low, expectations low, so that if for some reason it does happen, well, great. But if it doesn't, well, I'm already planning on it not happening. So there's that. And then I got a couple interesting lists for you next week as well. You're really going to like them, believe me. I'm really happy with them, but I do realize that I have to make a last minute edition now that I've finished filming them. A couple recent things have come to light in the last 24 hours, and so I'm gonna have to make some small tweaks into those videos, even though I get ready for, let's say, maybe Sunday, Monday, you know, Monday, Wednesday, something like that. So a little bit of everything. Also, you know, with the CMON games, I know I broke them down into like sections, like 49 to 31, 30 to 21, 20 to 11 and 10 to 1. But I'm also going to be releasing one of these days. It might be a separate day that I have nothing else, but it might also just be one of these days as a by the way, where it's going to be the whole video as a whole. Whole video as a whole. You know what I'm saying. It's just going to be the whole thing in one chunk. So in case you prefer it to reference that in the future, you know, it is what it is. So there's that. As for anything else, yeah, just trying to get a couple things played. It's really difficult right now. We got 6 kids in the house and just not a lot of time to play. You know, because my wife will play, but as she said to me today, like, do I want to play or will I play? And you know, again, it's my rest of my family for the most part, except for one of my brother-in-laws, is not huge either. So makes it tough, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, hopefully your holiday weekend is getting started. Hopefully stay safe, stay healthy. And I can't do the chair lean back because I'm not sitting in a chair. I'm literally kneeling on the floor right now. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dealing with all of this. And beginning of the week, next week, it'll be a little bit back to normal-ish because I filmed a few other things before this came around. So that's all I got. Stay classy. Thanks for watching. See you around. And I mean, plus now you get to see a little bit of what I got going on here, and you know, I got this thing. It's a very good one. You've probably never heard of this one. This is the Grail Animal Upon Animal bridge game. Took me a long time. I had to order it from Germany. Fantastic game though. Fantastic. And you know, a few other smatterings of things in there. So ignore all the stuff in shrink though. You don't need to. You don't clear. I hope you can't see. It's out of focus enough. I hope that you can't see how much is in shrink. Maybe I'll switch it for the next video so that all the shrink stuff is behind the camera.